This is Troy Rucker from Innovator Unleashed, coming at you with another principle for innovation. Now, what do milkmaids and smallpox have in common? Well, I'm going to tell you. There's a particular story, it's around 1798, and a man by the name of Edward Jenner has a question. Now, he's a very inquisitive mind, a doctor of the time, and he was worried about smallpox. Smallpox was a huge problem, particularly in the USA. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but I know it was here. And he decided he wanted to try and do something about it. The very first thing that he did is ask some wonderful questions about what was going on currently. What was the big picture? Now, what was interesting is, as he went about studying smallpox, he noticed there was a part of the demographic that seemed to be more resistant to smallpox. Now, this consisted of milkmaids and other people that handled dairy cows. Now, what was really interesting is as he studied and continued to ask more questions, he discovered that often these people are exposed to what's called cowpox, the cow version of smallpox. And they often have lesions and such that the people handling the cows would often be infected by. Now, this infection didn't really cause humans much of a problem. Sometimes it's often not even noticed. However, he discovered, asking additional questions, that he was able to see the similarities between cowpox and smallpox, and how these people, once they've been infected by cowpox, now had resistance. This was phenomenal. This was incredible. This was a world-changing event. He then was able to figure out how to take cowpox, infect people intentionally, so that they would no longer be at risk of being infected by smallpox, extremely debilitating and life-threatening disease at the time. Now, what I love about this story is just how Edward Jenner just continuously asked questions. He didn't ask one or two, but he kept diving deeper into the issues. Now, I'll talk about the different aspects of questions. Now, Tony Krasnick, he's an information professional, once said, "Key questions are questions that investigate information and experience, probe reasons and evidence, and examine interpretations and conclusions." Now, we'll talk about how Edward Jenner used this principle unknowingly, even though this quote came many, many years past his time. But yeah, first, investigate information and experience. Now, he saw a massive problem with smallpox, and so he looked to others' experiences and the information that was readily at hand. He went out and he visited. He studied the information of who was infected and who was not by smallpox. Then he probed reasons and evidence. Now, he saw the cowpox, human, and smallpox connection. He was able to see that connection between cowpox and human smallpox. That was pretty phenomenal. If he hadn't asked that question, he would have never come up with that relationship. And then he examined interpretations and conclusions. Lots of conclusions came to his mind, I'm sure. Lots of different reasons, as well as other people. But he kept asking those questions so that he could truly find the truth that was under all of that information that he gathered. He kept asking questions about the reason why it worked. Now, I love this because questions are a quest for truth. We try and find out what's the underlying reasons why things happen. What is the truth? Now, I love this quote. "The most effective leaders ask great questions, and they typically ask a lot of them. This is because the best leaders, regardless of the nature of their leadership, crave truth." That's Sherry Dew, CEO of Deseret Book. Now, what I love is that leadership is something that we may not always consider ourselves to be involved in, but anytime we run a project like creating that idea that's inside your mind, you are the CEO of your mind. And the most important thing is for you to crave truth, to discover that. So remember, in the future, Ask questions. Ask lots of them. Try to uncover those reasons why things are happening. And then you will have a much more clear picture on how to fix those problems and the path forward to take with your ideas. So thank you. Once again, this is Troy Ruckert with Innovator Unleashed. We'll talk to you soon.